Hey there, everybody. I'm here to explain how to remove a center integrated seatbelt, the one that's like built into the bench seat on my Mark 7 Golf Sport Wagon. This one's a 2015, but this procedure should apply to anything that is a Mark 7, so GTI, Golf R, Standard Golf, and potentially even some Audis from the same time period. This one's going to be more impromptu than usual since a seatbelt's extremely important, especially if you have kids that are sitting in the back and it's not functioning properly. So we're going to dive right into it. Here is the center seatbelt that is built into the passenger side two seats. So it'll be the passenger side seat and the center with the armrest. This is where the seatbelt mounts. What happened with my car is the seatbelt buckle broke. So after, inserting it, actually the factory service manual says if you try to insert the buckle 5 times and it does not click properly, then you should replace the entire assembly. Part of the reason why they say that is that, as you can see, the seatbelt here is, tied to the belt or to the buckle. So there's no real way to separate these two without cutting the belt and thus not making it safe anymore. It includes the latch. That's obviously built into the seatbelt, so you can't just take that off without cutting the belt. And then here's the feeder and locking mechanism. This attaches and is built into the bench seat that I was talking about earlier. This also has, the locking part in case you get into an accident. So all of this comes in one piece. Originally, I thought that I had to go off of the part number that's on the buckle, but if you look this up, you cannot find that. There is one with, here, I'm going to try to get this a little closer so you can see, but it is 5GM 857 740 QVZ. After the 740, there's an E. That's for Tiguan's, I believe, so you can buy this, separately, but for the Golfs, you cannot. This is all one piece. So the part number you need is the one that is on the back of the seatbelt buckle, and as you can see, that's 5GM 857 807 ARAA. And you can find that at OEM websites. I believe you can grab it off of USP Motorsports currently as of 2024. So that's the part. We're going to go ahead and show you the procedure on how to get this out of here. Here's the back of the sport wagon. As you can see, I've removed the rear bench seat. I have not yet vacuumed this mess, so sorry about that. But the first thing you're going to do is there are 4 hooks back here for the child seats, the restraints. The first thing you're going to pop off are these covers. They literally snap into place. So you just push them in, but like to take them out, you can literally just pull on this little tab that's down here and they pop out. Set them off to the side, and then behind that is the actual, restraint that is holding the bench seat in. As you can see, it has this kind of J-shape formation, so it goes in and then kind of curls up like that. In order to get this out, I can actually show you here. You can see they kind of pop into place when they're at the top of the J. So with the bench seat in, you would press down on this. It would kind of pop out like that, and then you would want to put the bench seat down just a little bit to, clear a gap back here. Then you can kind of push down on this tab a little more, and then you can get your fingers back here and pull up. And that actually is not as easy as I thought. But once you pull on this, it basically will, pop out and come out, no problem. It's just because I'm holding the camera, it's making it more difficult to do, but you can see how it rocks back and forth. You basically pull back here and you should be able to get the whole thing out. You do that times 4 with that one here and then the 2 that are on the passenger side. So once you have all 8, or in this case 7, because I was fiddling with this other one here, you should be able to remove the bench seat. It's very simple. There are 2 tabs here at the front, one here and then one on the passenger side. You can kind of stick your hand right around here and then just pull up pretty briefly and you'll hear it kind of pop out. Do the same thing on the other side. The only other thing holding the bench seat in are these 2 hooks, and if you take a look at them, they're curved, kind of like the other fasteners we were just talking about. So it's just as simple as once you've lifted these 2 tabs up, you kind of push the seat back a little bit and then you should be able to lift up on the rear end of the seat, and it'll clear these hooks, and then you can just take the entire bench seat out of the car. This is where the hook's attached to when you put it back in. So make sure that when you reinsert this, that the hooks come behind this metal bar so that the seat is fully fastened, especially when you start putting weight on it. So it's going to start getting tough once we unfasten the buckle, but the buckle is very simple. There is a stud here with a 17 millimeter nut. You literally just untorque that. I believe the torque spec when you put it back on is 40 Newton meters. So, not too tight, but tight enough to keep it from moving. You can kind of see the witness mark there from where the buckle's metal portion is supposed to sit on the frame of the car. This little center armrest folds down, separately from the bench seat. You don't have to remove it, but I would recommend it because you're going to be putting this thing up and down constantly. These are two, I believe, T30 or T27 Torx bolts. They're not torqued on very tight. Just loosen those, and then the entire center armrest should come off. Then you will want to lower the seat that you're working on. So you just pull this lever, obviously, and the entire center, seat compartment will come down. As you can see here, the trim is missing, and that's because I have removed it. The easiest way to do that is if you have a set of plastic trim tools, I would suggest using those, probably a decently beefy and thick one like this. But if you're going to use a bigger tool, be more gentle. If you have a smaller tool, you can kind of put a little bit more energy into it. But basically, you just kind of get underneath the edge on the outside and just pry up until you start hearing clips coming loose. I don't think there's going to be a way for you to remove this without breaking, one or two of the clips, but it will still hopefully fasten back in, no problem. If you're a real stickler for it, you can just buy a new one of these, but as long as you don't crack the frame, it should usually be okay. There are two of these little plastic trim pieces that latch up against the center armrest here. They go in this spot. Those can also just kind of be pried out. The big latch is at the top. Hopefully my focus will start doing its job. As you can see, I broke one of the clips here. It's probably common to do that. These probably aren't that difficult to replace, and I'm assuming there's a part number on here as well. Yeah, it looks like there is. I don't know whether we can see it. There it is, 580-866-331G, I believe. So you can buy a couple of those if you want it to stay, nice and fresh. But once you get this off, there are little plastic pieces that are attached to this fabric. And they're pretty rigid, and they're like hooked on to this trim here. So all you need to do is get towards the edge of the trim and pull up just a little bit, enough to peel this back. I try to go as far all the way around as you can. I did the bottom and the passenger side. Here there's a plastic trim piece. I didn't really bother with taking it off because you don't really need that amount of clearance, but if you needed more, you could pop that off. And as you can see, the foam of the seat is exposed here, and you should be able to peel back here enough with both of your hands, enough prying. If you're able to get something in there that can hold it, that would be good. And if you reach up into this corner, you'll find that locking mechanism and the feed for the belt. It's sitting right here in this little square. So let me show you with the seat back up. There is a plastic trim piece here. Similar situation, you just take a trim tool and peel up around the edges. There is a divider on the left side here. If you peel that up with a little trim tool, it'll kind of pop out of place. That's typically where I ended up starting, and then I just kind of worked my way around the back and the front, and it'll pop out of this seat trim here. You will need that to be able to remove the belt. The belt will still be, in here, and that's what this separator is for. You can separate this, and then the belt will come out of this little slot here. So if you just peel it back a little bit, the belt should be able to come out, no problem. Once you've done that, there is metal framing for the seat inside this hole. So you're not gonna be able to fit the feeder out of here. What you basically have to do is you take the buckle and you can feed the buckle in through here, and it actually fits the whole thing if you angle it right. So you would pull the feeder out through this trim and through the foam down with the whole belt, and then the buckle will go down through here and then out the same location, and that is how you get it out. I believe the part's somewhere in the $120 range or so, and I've The factory service manual says do not lubricate the buckle to fix it. I ended up doing that before I read the manual, and lo and behold, it did not fix the problem. And another solution that I've heard of is that you can put, peel the plastic casing around the buckle apart, and then you can look at what's broken. There's some folks that have 3D printed the pieces that have broken inside of the belt assembly, and then you can just glue the assembly back on, since the casing doesn't have any clips to hold it in. So it is, once you've broken it, there's no real way of putting it back together without adhesive. So people have tried that. I figure I might as well just get a whole new belt assembly, since I was able to get it out, put it in, and hopefully have it work for another, this car has, like I said, it's a 2015. It has around 93,000 miles or so. So hopefully it'll last another 93 at a minimum. But that's pretty much it. That's the whole disassembly process. Hopefully this helped you out. If it did, feel free to give the video a like and subscribe for more random car stuff. And yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.